Welcome to episode 228 of Silver Lining for Learning. It is Saturday, March 29th, and our first episode after celebrating our 5th-year anniversary. So this is kicking off our 6th season. I am Punya Mishra, and I'm at Arizona State University. With me are my co-hosts Kurt Bonk from Indiana, Lydia Kao from University of Toronto. Our other two co-hosts, Chris Didi and Young Zhao, cannot join us today for various reasons, but we are really excited about today's episode for a wide range of reasons. On Silver Lining, we explore innovative approaches to education, and underlying all our episodes, there is this often unacknowledged but always there, this moral dimension that education has, and its importance in times of stress and vulnerability, and in times of great challenges. And I can't imagine a better episode that reflects the kind of work that education and educators can do to bring people together than the work that we're going to talk about today. So I'm thrilled to welcome my dear friend and esteemed colleague, Professor Miri Shonfeld, with her colleagues from the TEC Center, Dr. Manal, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, Manal Yazbak Amu Ahmad. Is that okay?
Perfect.
All right, thank you. And Wafa Zidan, and Dr. Wafa Zidan. And just as an introduction, I think in a world where cultural divides seem to grow deeper every day, I think the work of the TEC Center is a really powerful reminder of the potential of education to bridge these divides. And what is amazing is that the way they brought together virtual simulations and AI and this team and all the other people in it have created safe spaces for meaningful cross-cultural dialogue in context where conversations such as these face tremendous challenges. I would like to point anybody watching to go to the website and see the title screen for this episode, because I think Miri, you can explain that better than I can, the photograph that we have on there. And I'm also particularly happy to share that Miri recently received the 2025 Outstanding Service to Digital Equity Award at the SITE conference in Orlando, where I was pleased to be one of the people nominating her and to be there when she received the award. This is a recognition of her commitment and of the team's commitment to using technology to foster intercultural understanding. I can go on and on because this is truly one of the more inspiring sort of group of people that we're going to talk to today. But I will stop now, and I can't wait to dive into learning more about all the work that you guys do. So around technology, education, and cultural diversity. So welcome, Miri, Manal, and Wafa. I'm going to pass the baton to you, Miri, to introduce yourselves and then pass it on to the other people, our other guests. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me again, because I was here 4 years ago. And it's really exciting to hear all these 4 years episodes and to understand that you are doing amazing work. So I'm Professor Miri Shonfeld, and I am actually, I founded the TEC Center together with my colleagues 20 years ago. So the SITE Award was like 20 years of working in this field, and also 20 years for coming to the SITE conference. So it was really a honor to get this award. I'm also the head of the thesis master degree in technology and education at the Kibbutzim College. And I'm also the vice president of the International Association for Intercultural Education, the IAIE. And I'm thinking that I will forward the introduction to Wafa, so you can continue.
Thank you. Go ahead, Wafa.
You're muted.
Yeah. Thank you, Miri. My name is Wafa Zidan, and I'm head of the Innovative and Digital Learning unit at the Academic Arab College for Education in Haifa. I'm a senior lecturer in the field of ICT, computer science, and research methodology, and I'm facilitator in the internship program, pedagogical supervisor, as well as a board member with Miri and Manal at the TEC Center. This is basically, yeah.
Go ahead, Manal.
Okay, so I'm Manal Yazbak I'm a senior lecturer at Sakhneen College, a teacher trainer. I held a lot of positions at the college, like Dean of Student Affairs and head of the English department. I come from the English discipline. I also have a lot of hats. Actually, I'm not going to really mention all the hats, but I'm also a board member in the TEC Center. I'm a board member of the IAIE organization. I am also a member of the follow-up committee for Arab education. I also work closely with the U.S. Embassy in one of the programs. I'm in English, and I also deal with technology and education, and that's, I think, one of the reasons we're here. Also, simulations and virtual worlds. I also developed a MOOC course in one of the, I think, couple of years ago, Intercultural to Multicultural Education, in which it was in 3 languages, Arabic, English, and Hebrew. I was heading the Arab, and we were nominated twice for the Oscar Education Reimagine in England. It was actually, the last one was this December.
Thank
And
you.
that's it for
So
now.
thank you so much, and thank you again for joining us. So before we start, maybe each of you can speak a little bit to how you got involved in this work, so to give us some context for how it started, and then we can open it up to our other hosts too, if they have any questions. I have so many questions. I could go on, but I should be equitable and give them a chance to speak as well. But let's start with like Miri, maybe like how this work, particularly around intercultural communication and the context within which and the history of how it came to be. And then maybe Wafa, you and Manal can speak to your sort of participation in this and how it started.
So actually, it started 20 years ago when I was the head of ICT in my college, and I thought about something valuable to do with technology and education. And then I called my two colleagues, Dr. Asma Ganaim and Dr. Elaine Hotter, and I asked them if they want to do at that time, actually, and it's the same today, each of the cultural students, like the Arabic students, the Jewish students, and the Orthodox students study in different colleges of education. And I saw that it will be interesting to have a conference together. And 20 years ago, it wasn't easy. We used video conference for the lecturers. We had a very primitive interwise connection to connect between the participants, but it was very successful. And then we continued with one course for students, and we saw that it's a good idea to use technology to connect between different cultures. And we decided to have more courses. And actually, I think Wafa was joined us at the second year that we started to work together. And Manal, maybe you joined after 3 years with the English course. And today we have 12 different programs for students. Each year we have about 1,000 students that study together and work through. So we developed a model, and to this model, a lot of people were part of it, where we realized that it takes time for people to get to know each other and understand that differences like out um, how people look and how they speak and everything is can be somehow bridged through online communication. And then we developed the TEC model, which we start to meet each other by text communication, asynchronous communication. Then we go to synchronous communication, but also we go to higher order thinking and also more developed collaboration. And before we come to face-to-face meeting, we really meet each other online in a way that when we meet face to face, we don't look at how we look and what is our skin color or what is our dress code. And it's really understanding to meet each other through our qualities. And we understood that this is a model that can work everywhere. So then we started to work also with the other countries and other universities. And now I think we have about maybe 12 countries that we worked with the TEC model. So this is, in short, the history of the TEC model and the TEC Center.
Perfect. Thank you. So, Wafa, Manal, do you want to add something to that about your sort of roles in this, within this?
I can go. I think we joined the TEC Center. We joined with Miri and other colleagues because we share the same dream, and we know how powerful technology is, and of enabling the intercultural competency. And we know the challenges. We are aware of the challenges it puts, and we are all faculty members at different colleges, teacher education colleges, where this is part of what we teach also in our own colleges. So bringing all of our students from the diverse cultures, different colleges, into one setting, this was a plus for all students. I mean, they did not normally in Israel, we have each student study in one college and graduate. It's not like in the States where you can study a few courses and then transfer to a different college. I mean, it's a small place, so everyone stays in the same place. So in TEC Center, it enables the student to join from different colleges and collaborate with students from diverse cultures, and this opens a lot of opportunities for us as an educators and for our students.
Okay, so I'm gonna second what Wafa said. So what happens is because of the Israeli education system is segregated, so the Arab students study in Arab schools and Jewish students study in Jewish schools. And usually the place where they meet is the university. But since our colleges are Arab colleges, which means all our students, we may have Jewish faculty, but most, not all of our students are Arabs, and we have our own, intra differences, and they don't meet Jewish students. So I started way before the TEC Center. I started with a Jewish friend of mine, where we started our Jewish course with David Dillon's college in Jerusalem, and I have taught this for years. And I think this was one of the reasons that prompted me to get into the TEC Center. So the continuation of my work, and I really believe that this is a chance for our students to meet on an equal level. We really follow the all-port model, the whole let's say rules in terms of bringing two groups together. And since I'm teaching English, and this is, with the Arab Hebrew majority minority relation, you can see that using English as a neutral language really also puts our students in equal status when they work together in neutral. And this is because they study to be English teachers. I think this is really an opportunity for us to bring things together and work together. And we work in cumulative learning, meaning that the students work throughout the course in groups to work on a project. And this is really, for them, they're working towards a common goal. And this is really also bring them together, that they're really task-oriented. They have to work together. They have to, let's say, break their preconceptions and stereotypes and start treating each other on equal. I think this is really important. And in one of our articles that we have, we really our tech is involved with a lot of research in our courses. And in English, we really saw that the apprehension between Arab and Jewish students was really very strong at the beginning, especially on the Jewish student side, that they didn't want to deal with Arab students or talk to Arab students. And we saw that as the course progressed, that we see that there was a lot of improvement, and they started really seeing them as equals and as human beings and as also partners. One of our successes is not just this course. We want the students to go on and do this in their schools. We want this model, we want them to adopt the model, and when they become teachers, to do the same thing, to do this connection between Arab Jewish schools. And also, for me, also personally, when I see my students on a social network, and like on whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and they continue on after the course, I think this is one of our great impacts of the TEC Center.
Wow.
Before you go to the next question, I would say that there is a picture that you put of me and Manal, and
Yes.
actually it was a part of students meeting, because when we finished the course, like after a few months that they were working together and they haven't met, we have a meeting at the Mofet Institute, where the TEC Center is located today. And at that time, we decided to open the conference where I was with the hijab, and actually
That's right.
Wafa, here is Manal, because we took a picture afterwards, but Wafa was with a nice hat, like a religious Jewish teacher. So it was interesting, and we started to speak. I know a little bit of Arabic, so I started in Arabic.
You introduced her. You introduced her
I
in
introduced Wafa, and it was very successful. So since then, we are trying to, to copy the same opening. Yeah, but that picture is from that opening of one of these sessions.
Yeah. So when Miri shared that photograph with me and explained the context for it, usually if you go back and look at all the images that I make for Silver Lining for Learning, they all often just have the faces of the guests. If anything, I never give any contextual stuff because I never know which picture to choose. And this was one that I felt like absolutely had to include on there. So it's on there. So thank you for that. And again, I think that and I'm going to pass it on to Lydia next, but I just want to underscore like how important the work it is that you are doing, the model that you are setting, because we live in a world now which is increasingly riven apart by what we all know to be somewhat superficial differences, but are ones that really cause rifts among people. And so it is just so impressive and so amazing with the work that you do. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions about the use of technology and simulations and so on, but I want to pass it to Lydia, and I'm sure we will get to that at some point.
Thank you, Punya. I have two questions. The first one, first of all, I want to acknowledge how admirable the work that you are doing. And I'm just curious from a practice perspective, like how does it work? Like how do students from different colleges work together? Do you teach parallel courses? Are they working on collaborative projects together? So what are the occasions that they collaborate? And my second question is about the virtual environment and the simulation AI that you alluded at the beginning. So yeah, these are my two questions. Thank you.
Okay. I can answer the first question about we try to take courses with similar content from the different colleges. Once we have those, we mark those courses. From each college, the students arrive with their instructor. And what we do is the instructors themselves, we have meetings really. I mean, we sit for 2 days. We take 2 days before college starts, and we work on the content, on the curriculum, on the material, and we agree on what we are doing, what we are teaching. And then we have one platform. I mean, for each school, for each college, we have the Moodle sitting on their server. But for our joint courses, we sit on the Moodle of Mofet, which takes all the students from the different colleges. So they all share the same course Moodle. And what we do is we divide the curriculum, like say each unit, 2 instructors will be responsible for it, that will prepare the material and teach, one Arab, one Jewish. And we try to put both languages. At the same time, with the students, they all enter the same Moodle. So we group them in different groups with maximum of 6 students in each group. And we try to take diverse group, like if we have 3 colleges, so at most 2 students from each college. And they are put in one group and they have to work together. So they have to share their discussions, their collaborative projects. We start with individual work that each one will do his work until they get to know how to communicate within the forum. And then they start working collaboratively on major projects later on in the school year.
I'll give an example. I was in charge of the English course called Exploring Culture Through Literature in English. So our course really deals with multicultural issues. And since we deal with the themes of identity, home, what is like home for you, and your multiple identities, and also we speak about marriage, and one of the units is holidays and food. So the project may really be like now our students are really working on they have to invent a holiday according to the groups. It doesn't have to be religious. We ask them not religious holiday because now it's holiday season and all the students are really celebrating one holiday or another. So this is really a nice opportunity for them to discuss. We have text on holiday, and they also work on a project, which is like we're speaking about 5 or 6 week project. In our courses, we have 2 models. We have a yearly course where it's the same curriculum for all the colleges, and this is really a challenge because it's really hard to have the same syllabus for all the colleges. So this is really a challenge for us, but we have a couple of yearly courses. And the second model is really a modular, where we have something like a semester course, a 6-week module that we work on. Like, for example, I have one of the courses also with Germany. We don't have also a national, we also have international tech courses. So they are really, because of the challenges of the time, the semester starts differently in each institution. So we do something like 6 week, and during the 6 weeks they also do a project, and sometimes they can develop a site, like they can create a site where they can put their information. And as I said, it could be food, it could be something about their traditions, holidays, family relationship, stories about personal stories, personal narratives about their families. So it's really different from each course. We have about 13 different courses, and each different course in every different discipline. So we have special ed, we have early education courses, we have technological courses as well. So it's really different disciplines. Miri?
I can add that it's really challenging to find the time to meet synchronously, because let's say now we had 1 month of the Ramadan, so it was really, most of our meetings are in the late afternoon or like 7 o'clock at night, and it's really difficult to meet in Ramadan because they have the iftar, like the important dinner, and we can't have a synchronous meeting. And then the Muslim students, they have this week the Eid al-Fitr, which is the holiday. And then when
it's tomorrow, actually. It's tomorrow, actually. This is
yeah. So a happy holiday for all the Muslims. But anyway, they will finish their holiday, and then we start with the Passover. So in Passover, we can't meet. And then there is the Easter. If we have Christian students, they have the Easter. So it's really the most challenging issue is how to find time to meet synchronously and to go between, you know, Christmas, Christian holidays. So there are some years that it's fine, but that it's overlap. But sometimes it's like 1 month of this, 2 weeks of this. So it's really challenging. And for the international courses, where we have, let's say, students from Germany or from Hungary, they will start the semester on September, but we start later on October or maybe in November. And actually on December, in Germany, they have Christmas vacation. So it's really difficult when we speak about times, and also difficult for the student themselves because they have to meet in the small group to create the task. So they have to meet in order to work a little bit together. So in one of the courses that I have with American students in Texas, where we had 8 hours difference, we started to build the groups depending on the time that they are available to meet. So it's a lot of logistics to try to find how to work with all these groups. But yeah, we found a solution and it works good.
Yeah, with all the challenges we try to find, I mean, this is one of the major issues that we try to tackle right at the beginning before we meet, or before the school year starts. And we put the dates of the synchronous and asynchronous meetings for all the year.
Okay. Manal, I'm just
Well, actually,
clarification.
Kurt, there was one more question that Lydia had asked, which was
Oh,
the
yeah.
use of technology. So, and that's such a critical component here. So if you don't mind, we could
Yep.
jump into that before your question.
Mhm.
Okay. So one of the things that, you know, in the write-up that was exciting to read was this use of like AR, VR, and simulations. So I think the pedagogical question is what's the value of doing that? Because if you can meet over Zoom or you can do this, what additional element are you getting through that? They'll be curious to, and also how you've been using that, and whoever wants to jump in, and then others can follow.
Yeah, I can speak because I want to share also the video. So for us, simulation has been really very common as a tool, as a teaching tool in the last decade. And almost all the colleges in Israel now have a simulation center where they use it. I remember as a teacher, we used to use role play, really very simple role play, different scenarios. And today the colleges have, so our students are access. But the problem with the simulations are really their cost, like really very costly in terms of money that the college also. So it's not really that available to everyone, not whenever they want. So what we have developed as part of our a very prestigious fund that we got, research fund, ISF fund. So we really try to do virtual simulations in order to really overcome the challenges. And what we've done is we first asked the students, because it was really important. The most important thing in scenarios in simulations is the closer that they are to the reality, the context of the students, the more powerful they are. So we try to elicit these scenarios from the students, but the students suggested, and it's a process, an evolving process. So I remember that the first time we started with writing the scenarios, we felt that something is missing. That this is like so artificial. Then the students suggested and you'll see this in the video that I will share. I don't know, for some reason it's not giving me in English, but we just to give you an idea what's happening is that the idea is that the students in the virtual world become avatars and they live this. And they said we did an Arab Jewish market. We said, okay, the market where students usually we had in mind the Jerusalem market where you go and you see Arab and Jewish shops and Arab Jewish people. But the students, after developing this simulation, said, no, this is not something that we would go. You know, we would go to mall. We're not going to go. No one goes to the market, the old market anymore, the flea market, wherever you want to call it. Now we go. So one of the suggestions were to use the bus. Then we did the simulation in the bus. The simulation, the bus Arab just come together, or the light rail, where you have all these contact and those conflicts, sometimes really very conflict and very, especially if you have, like us, every day we have something on the political side that really affects the people on the streets. So this is what we have done. We have really developed simulations. We have evolved the simulation. It's like a process, and it's the students' products. So let me just show you very quickly. It's sorry, it's like something that we have developed in Hebrew, but I don't know. Let me see if you can hear it. Do you hear it? Can you hear it?
No.
We don't, so what you have to do is stop sharing, and then we hit sharing
No.
again, then you
Yeah,
optimize.
I know, but I know how to do that. But I just wanted to. Sometimes, even if I don't do that, it's just. But again, just.
נחמד
It's in
כאן, אני
Hebrew,
יכולה
but
להרגיש
I
את
just
החום.
want to show you this is something that we have done.
Yeah, we can hear it now.
I'm
We
just
hear
gonna
it now.
Yeah, I don't want to I want to I just because it's in Hebrew, I just want to move it and explain what we have done. So this is in Arab and Jewish, and one of the also the challenge that we have for us Arab is with hijab, and I'm an Arab, I'm a Muslim, I don't have hijab. So it's like automatically goes like it's really hard to have, you know, an avatar you can pass as a Muslim or as a Jew, but if it's in hijab, it's definitely a Muslim. So this is like a Muslim lady with hijab. She goes to a Jewish, and she can hear all the, let's say, the discriminatory and let's say the stereotypes. So this is what we have done at the beginning. This is one of the students that really spoke about her experience about this. This is like a video it's a promotion video about the things that we have done. And I'm gonna stop share now because this is the idea here. Sorry, it's not in English, but the idea here is that in this immersive where they experience, it's in hands-on, they feel like in one of our courses, in the Miri course, we have developed like students in the wheelchair where they experience how it to be someone who cannot go to the bus because it's not accessible, cannot go buy falafel because it's not accessible, cannot go to the cinema because it's accessible. So once these feelings, even if they know that this is not real, but the impact of this feeling while you're really like fat and you cannot get thin because people are really what do I say, calling in you because you're fat and you cannot change back to being thin. So it's really very strong, and I think this is the power of the virtual simulations that we develop. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. That what was impressive to me, sorry, Kurt, one quick comment is that you are willing to confront some of these stereotypes head on. Very often, those are very difficult conversations to have. But when I'm hearing your description, that is something that is put right in front, and people now have to face up to possibly their own misconceptions or stereotypes that they have about others. And I think that is very impressive. So I've been holding Kurt back for too long. Kurt.
No. It's good, all good. I have a few comments and then a question. And maybe I have a small question before the others. Manal, when you did your MOOC, what was it on, and what did you cover? How many people attended? What was the success? I'm just curious. I read recently one of Elaine's papers, and it was on a MOOC. Did you work with Elaine?
Yeah. Elaine and I were together. We were in the same team.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did the English course together and the Hebrew, but I was in charge of the Arabic one. And that's what we're doing now. It's going on edX, on the international for the Arab. So we actually 2 weeks ago, we updated for the international edX. We worked on the intercultural differences in the Arab community. And this is really something we have been doing for 5 years. And it's the impact is, as I said, also I think we wrote 2 articles about this. And we saw how effective it was. One of the problems is the cost, with the MOOCs, because we're working with virtual worlds, you have to pay for the support and for the development of the island, of the multicultural island. And it's not art for is not free, and not everyone is really ready to pay. It's although like the really sum is not that big, but the experience itself is worth it. It's and this we have seen in the research that we have done.
Yeah, I have several books on MOOCs. I've done a couple dozen papers probably on it. So what was the attendance on this initially?
We started as between inter-colleges courses, which means that we had I think about hundreds from different colleges, and because we had it in Hebrew and English and Arabic. Unfortunately, because we haven't promoted it enough, it's not international enough. That's, I think, our goal now is really going international and have maybe more participants. We had actually from China, we had, from different parts from the world, but not enough, not as much as we wanted.
So listeners, you want to get involved in this, contact Manal and find out more, or maybe she can give you tips on doing your own MOOC in this regard.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's fascinating stuff always. I got more there, but I also want to mention a couple other comments. Miri, the time issue. I did wiki books around the world, and we always had the Chinese semester starting later than US semester, or people in Korea starting later than in the UK, their semester starts later. And that was an issue always. And the time of day, to try and do a synchronous meetup at the end or at the beginning, the time zone issues of 12, 13 hours and so forth in each part of the world, whether someone's in Turkey, someone's in India, someone's in Israel, wherever. So yeah, we all struggle with that, but there's a compromise. We often can find one, and so that's great. So Miri, you mentioned the primitive nature of some of this when you started 20 years ago. I had to laugh because it was not as primitive as it was 10 or 20 years before that. When I contacted my friend, well, it was one of the top researchers in Israel back in 1988. You might know this gentleman. His name is Gabriel Solomon. And Gabi, as he went by, he was developing the reading partner and the writing partner. And my dissertation was like the writing partner. Now, I developed metacognitive prompts for writing to get kids to reflect on the persuasiveness and argumentation and the originality and elaboration and just critical and creative thinking. And I wrote to him, he says, I asked him what it cost to build this reading partner and writing partner. And he says, it's a small project held together with band-aids and paper clips, just like you were saying there. A lot of people who get started in this are not dealing with the most elegant systems and tools in the world. And for all our listeners and viewers out there, it doesn't require $1 million grant to do some of these things. You got to start thinking about what is possible and just go for it and do the little pilots and then write the big grant that might get funded and might help you extend, as you said, you might extend your work beyond your people you're working with now. So this is always an issue as we enter a new wave of technology change. In this world, it's AI. But we got to start small with what can be done. And so, day after tomorrow, one of my classes, I'm having us use a simple tool called SMILE, Stanford Mobile Inquiry Learning Environments, where kids ask questions and it rates the levels of questions that the kids ask. And it's a free tool, so we have to start with these free things and so forth. But these are not my questions. My question is, we've heard a lot about models, and a lot of teachers who are listening out there might not be interested in models. They might not be part of a larger group like you are to collaborate with others. They might be alone by themselves. And so, they might not have the support structures that you have, might not even have reflective moments and professional development. But you can answer either of these. If you are a teacher or an instructional designer or what's a simple thing that can be done that you've seen works, a strategy, a technique, a pedagogical event that you've held that was impressive, that didn't require a lot of thinking, but just worked. Do you want to share something that you were unexpected and just worked really well, wouldn't cost a lot of money, and can get people charged up to do something? you could answer that question, or of all the models that you've seen and worked with over the past 5, 10, 20 years, what model tends to be more universal and tends to just work based on certain learning principles that, like principle of authenticity or flexibility, whatever it is. So either in the trenches, the specific strategy or the model. Who would like to take a stab at either one of those?
Okay, I will try to answer. First of all, it's not about the cost of technology. Of course, to do simulation in virtual world costs money today. I believe that it will be much easier in a few years. It was the same with the online synchronous meeting. When we started, it was really something that cost you a lot of money, but now it's very easy with Zoom and other synchronous technologies. So it's not about the technology. It's more about the pedagogy and the time that you as a teacher would like to invest in doing collaborative project. So the issue of collaborative learning or online collaborative learning depends on your willingness to invest time in it, because teachers who teach together, they have to spend time to, first of all, to start to build the course together. And then each week they have to meet before the class and decide what will be their next step. It's not you as a teacher that come into the class and you do whatever you like. You don't have to, of course, you have to prepare. But let's say most of the teachers, they say, okay, I will come to the class and I will start something. I know all the materials from before. I decide to do something new this year, but it's not so much time. So mostly is um, uh, the pedagogy you choose, and then the time that you want to invest in it. I have colleagues from, as I said before, from Germany, Hungary, and they are willing to invest time in it. We meet each Monday in order to have the class on Tuesday. Like me and Wafa, we meet each Sunday or Monday now to speak about how was the class last week and what we want to do the coming Tuesday. So it's really time consuming, but we believe that it's important. So it's, and also I think that some of the teachers, they, if they feel alone at class and they feel that working together is something that will bring them to do much richer lessons and classes. And I think that most of the lecturers that started to work with us wanted to remain because they felt that they are doing something meaningful. And they feel that they are in a community that work together for a valuable target. So it's more about the teacher and how much he would like to invest in this.
And I want to continue on what Miri said, and I think one of the successes, and this is really the greatest, I think, success and the greatest model, is that we as instructors, we model it. So we have part of our teaching is we have a forum that we continuously meet once a month. Before we start the courses, we have a 2-day, let's say 2 intensive days where we plan the courses. We see what's new, what's happening, what's going to we this year include with the courses. So this coming together, staying overnight in a place, like going to dinner, and this strong relationship, I think one of the things that I got is friendship. It's not just I'm teaching this course and that's it. It's like Wafa, Miri, Jen has been very close for years, which means, well, this, I think, for 12, for me, for 13 years. And we visit each other. Like I have hosted them in Ramadan for an Ramadan iftar 3 weeks ago. And we went to Mir, we went to Wafa. So it's really all these like social and like if like activities that strengthen the relationship. So we model first that the students see that we work collaboratively together. So we want them to do the same thing. And it's this strong personal relationship in addition to the professional relationship that we also want our students to really see. And they see it. They see the dynamics between Manal and Wafa and Miri, and they see this. And when we meet in person, they see how we hug each other and how we talk each other while we're working. And I think this is really one of this. And that forum always really, because we speak about technology and AI and simulation, we always try to be on top of what is happening around us. So everything is happening, we integrate in our courses, because our center is not just cultural diversity, it's also technology. So anything that's in technology, it's important to be also reflected in our syllabi.
Wafa, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to add a little bit about simulation. We believe that virtual simulation and gamified experiences for the learners, it helps the learners engage with different cultures, different cultural contexts in immersive ways. And this is why we use, with the AI tools, the past few years, we are using them to personalize their learning, to adapt the content to different cultural backgrounds. So what we started doing is asking them after they practice, after they experience the simulation in the virtual world, to write a scenario using the AI, generative AI, with the cultural diversity, with the cultural backgrounds in mind, and asking them to bring a story more in rather not with a bias, but to be inclusive and to promote mutual respect and understanding. And they work together, students from the different colleges. So they put the scenario together, and then they use other tools to make it like a short movie and produce it. And this is how we promote, the cultural competency between within the group, within the small group. And we hear a lot of great feedback from the students. I mean, it's not just that we teach the tool itself, but after they experience, they know how to use it pedagogically, understand where how they can go with it, and how they can use it when they become teachers next year, the following years in schools, how they can become promoting for inclusion and equity. So this is what we try to do with the technology. Like Manal said, we try to stay on top of things, but with the rapid change and exponential changes that we find, I mean, we try to concentrate on the pedagogy and the issue more than the tool itself. And we offer few tools. I mean, we teach them one or two tools, but we say that today you have this tool, tomorrow you're going to have another. So just be aware how to use critical thinking, to use the right tool for the right goal that you want for. So this is what we are doing within our courses.
Each of these powerful new models of education are based on a set of learning principles. And yours is particularly one of the principles, authenticity. I see that embedded within here, but there are others as well. And if we have time, maybe near the end, Miri or Manal or Wafa, if you could point us to an article that might lay out some of the principles. But I know Lydia wants to talk about generative AI and intercultural ed, and Punya has a question, but I'll come back to this. So just think about the principles. That's the question I typically ask anyways. Punya, you want to jump in here?
I think, Lydia, that was where I was going with. Why don't you jump in with the question that you had over there around AI?
Sure. I'm just really interested in hearing more about the integration of AI in intercultural education. I think that's really fascinating, how AI being something that's AI doesn't have experience about culture, but you leveraging that for intercultural education. I just would love to hear more about that.
Integrating AI tools in education, we know that it significantly promote the cultural competency by fostering inclusivity, enhancing cross-cultural understanding, and providing the personalized learning experience. So we try to expose, to shed the exposure to diverse perspectives. We show them different platforms, like I said, and how they can incorporate multicultural content. For example, with last month, February, was declared the month of AI here in the Ministry of Education. So all our students had to work with that within the school as a pre-service when they go to practice in schools. And they had lots of platforms available on the web, and the teachers, and they had a lot of resources, facilitators, workshops for the parents, for the children, for the educators. So our students went to schools and practiced with the teachers, with the students and the pupils there, and then they come back and they talk about it, and we elaborate on that. So it's something that we are trying to promote in an educative way. We want them to make a proper informative decision, to use critical thinking when they use it. We tell them to, once they use it, like within the groups, the forum, the group of students, once they get a product from AI, they can post it in the forum, and then others can give feedback, and then they can go back to the chat and revise it, or they can meet together and talk about it and see if something was biased. This helps break the misunderstanding, and having the AI tools do the automatic translation. This is extremely a boost for our students, because the Arabic-speaking students, like Manal said, I mean, they talk Arabic and they speak fluently in Arabic and prefer to do the work in Arabic. But once we are in this setting, so they have to do practicing in Hebrew. And what they can do is they can do the work in Arabic, and then with one click, they can change it and translate it to Hebrew or English, and the other students can read it and give the feedback. So this is what we've been doing within the groups, I mean, for the students. So we, as teachers, I mean, we try to use the tool. We show them how to use it in their education, pedagogy, how to use it, how to apply it. But we let them choose and choose any other tool they want, and we open the platforms. I mean, there are several libraries on the web here in Israel and the world. I mean, they go online and they choose. I mean, sometimes they bring tools that we did not hear about it yet. So our students are native, digital native, and the problem is more with us, the instructors. But thank God, I mean, we try to stay on top of it, and we try to understand where our students coming from and what they want, and we try to help as much as we can, and to help them navigate between the different tools and the different cultures. And so it's been helping us mainly with the language barrier. I mean, it's really the translation tool is extremely useful. We encourage them also to do the human AI collaboration, like not just take it as is, put your human sense in it, and rather than full automation, use your critical thinking. We ask them to because of the biases. I mean, right now it's a little bit less biased, but when OpenAI started, I mean, it was full of bias, and we try to tell them, read, think, and try to use critical thinking, so you can overcome those biases. So for interaction, for collaboration, and for understanding, I mean, it's been a great help in our teaching.
So
If
I'm looking at the time, so I'll let you guys address this question, and then I'll have one final question for all of you. So Manal, Miri, this use of AI, what are some of the issues or things that you've been doing? Anything you want to add to that?
I just can add that we think about simulation with the help of AI, and this will be probably the next step. And also, I would like to emphasize that we found an interesting connection between intercultural competence and technology skills. And this is something that we are doing now in our research, and we are looking for researchers all over the world. So if someone can hear us and would like to join us, it will be great. We have also a little fund for this. So it will be interesting to find exactly what happened in our mind when we somehow sharp our intercultural competence and at the same time our phobias from technology. So there is something between the two of them. So this is something that we're trying to understand now.
Okay. Manal, any quick comments about this?
No, I'm part of the research, and so I think Miri covered it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just looking at the time. The hour always goes by. We could go on for longer, but I want to come back to something that I started with, and I think what is most impressive about what you are doing, because where you are geographically in the world right now is a very tense and difficult place. I mean, for you to do the work that you're doing to bring students together through this camaraderie, through this friendship, it is such an amazing model for all of us at a time when we seem more divided than ever. And so I just want to, from the depth of my heart, I just thank you for the work you're doing and the model that you're providing all of us. So the question really for the three of you, and I don't know which way you're going to answer it, is how do you keep positive? How do you keep going at a time when these tensions sometimes seem so powerful? I will give an example. I have a Pakistani friend, and then when this terrorist attack happened in Mumbai, it was really hard. I'll be honest, for me to, for a few days to even talk to him, because it felt so painful. How do you do that? Because I think that is what I want to learn. That is what I want our listeners to learn. The tech can come and go, all of those things come and go. What I see from all of you is this camaraderie, this friendship, which is overriding differences that are really ripping people apart. And so, first of all, thank you for that. But what advice do you have for us or others who are listening about how you maintain that connection, that positivity, that optimism at a times which can be very difficult? And any of you can go and
Yeah, I want to start. I think the keyword is generalization, not to generalize, not to put the same people in the same pot. This is, I think, one of the things, because the problem is that we let the politicians rule our world, and once we do that, we lose our humanity. And I think one of our successes, we don't let these political events, and although it's very explosive in the country, we don't let it interfere with our personal relationship, and we think we get over it because I don't generalize the Jews. They don't put the Jews or the Arabs or any nation in that case in one place. So I think this is what our, and this is what this I finish. I think this is really the most important thing, is not to generalize and be human.
Thank you.
And I think also the understanding between us, the friendship. I mean, we can talk about anything. Right when things happened here in Israel, I mean, we were together in Hungary. We were when the war started.
Sarajevo.
We were in Sarajevo. and we talked about it. I mean, it was very hard for all of us, but still, I mean, we listen to one news, they listen to the other, and then we talk about it, and we say, and Miri goes, well, I heard you, and I went looking for that story that you told me. I couldn't find it, and so we believe each other. I mean, it's not like we label one another. Instead, we listen and we try to understand what the other perspective. And this is, and like Manal said, we put politics, the politician on the side, and we try to use to stay human in our relation.
Miri,
I
you get the last word.
Yeah, I think that we understand that we are on the same boat, and we
Mm.
are trying to get safe to a place where everybody can live. And we understand that there are a lot of politicians or other people that would like to control us, and we try, to do it together and to understand that people are people, and we have to live together. There is no other way, and we believe in it. So if everybody understand it, then we all can live together.
All right. With that words, I have nothing. I honestly am at a loss for words here. And so thank you, all of you, for joining us today, but more importantly, for being such an amazing model and example for all of us. This is one of, I would put among my favorite episodes that we have had, and we have had 228 of them.
Yeah. Thank you
Um,
for having us.
no, not at all. Absolutely. So, just a quick note, Kurt, before I pass it to you to announce the next episode. Last week, when I was at the site conference, I was invited for the International Day of Digital Learning by UNESCO to give a closing keynote. Um, there were all kinds of fiascos, part of which was that I was up at 6 in the morning, put coffee to go drink coffee, was setting up my computer, went back to get my coffee, realized I had not put a cup. So there was coffee all over the floor of my hotel room. So instead of preparing for my talk, I was swabbing the floor. So not a great start. But what I talked about, and it's on my website, I'll drop the link here, which was about silver lining for learning. And just taking examples. So Kurt, I used the example of the Nepal students. I used examples from across the world of people who are doing amazing work, often without enough resources or support and so on. And this episode, if this had happened before, this would have definitely made that list. So that's the link to, you can watch the video. It's 20 minutes long, but I think captures what silver lining has meant for all of us. And so thank you for kicking off the 6th season with a very wonderful episode. And Kurt is now going to introduce episode 2 of season 6.
Not so fast.
Okay.
We need 15 more seconds. Did any of the three of you, I think of an article that epitomizes your project. Do you want to recommend one article that would kind of summarize what the principles are that you've been working from? Do you have anything, or we can also put it in the website, but anything that comes to
Yeah,
mind?
we have a couple that we can send you a link.
Yeah, just send us and I can update the website with that. So thank you.
Yes, I'd love to read it myself and assign it myself. And all of you listeners out there want to assign this too, because we want more such projects around the world. This is not the only one that can exist, and you could maybe network with them, maybe do a symposia with them, maybe edit a book with them. There's all sorts of possibilities when you jump into this world of intercultural education. There are a lot of interesting projects. We've hosted several of them on the show over the past 5+ years now. We're at the beginning of season 6, and what a better way to start season 6 than with all of you. And Miri, my dear old friend, or young friend, my dear friend. We have to introduce the next show. And real briefly, we're gonna have a different kind of a show next week. We have something we haven't done before. We're gonna interview and talk to the editors of 3 popular EdTech journals. The editor of the Internet and Higher Education, Vanessa Denon, who is moving to become editor of Educational Technology Research and Development, ETR&D. We are also going to have Sam Nadu, who's the editor of Distance Education, or was the founder of it and been editing it for 25 years. And he just stepped down, but we're going to hear the history of all that. And thirdly, we're going to hear from Peter Shea, who's the editor of Online Learning Journal, which many of us have published in. All three of those are Tier 1 journals, so we'll hear from them at 5 o'clock next Saturday, which is April 5th, which is 8 in the morning the next day for Sam Nadu, who's in Melbourne. I hope some of you can join us and listen to that show, especially graduate students in the field of educational technology. Thank you all. See you next time.